Hey, have you ever wondered what happens when those reputable judges lose their composure in court? As we count down the top 5 times judges lost their temper in court, we're going to uncover the shocking truth. But first, I have a question for you before we begin this compelling journey. Have you ever been in a courtroom when something happened that made you speechless? Tell us in the comments section below. All right, let's settle down and discover the most astonishing events that occurred inside the courtroom's four walls. These judges are ready to display a side you've never seen before, including emotional outbursts and heated arguments. But wait, there's more. Throughout history, we've seen judges known for their composed demeanor and impartiality, but even they have their limits. In this riveting countdown of the top 5 times judges lost their temper in court, you'll witness the hidden side of these judicial titans. From tense confrontations to shocking outbursts, get ready to see the human side of the justice system and discover what happens when the gavel meets its match. So, are you ready to uncover the explosive moments that shook the very foundations of the courtroom? Stay tuned, because this is one countdown you won't want to miss. Number 5. In this startling instance, we discover ourselves in a courtroom where a well-known trial is taking place. Despite being charged with serious offenses, the defendant frequently interrupts the court's proceedings and appears to show little regard for its authority. The defendant continues to be disruptive despite repeated orders from the judge to be quiet and show respect, heightening the tense atmosphere in the courtroom. The defendant's attitude and refusal to comply with the court's norms and decorum worsen as the trial goes on. The judge does their best to keep everything in order and guarantee a fair trial. They are renowned for their cool attitude and impartiality. The defendant's arrogance and disregard for the processes, however, try the judge's forbearance. At this point, both the prosecution and defense lawyers, as well as the audience, are eagerly awaiting the judge's decision, and the tension in the courtroom is evident. The judge is aware that the defendant's actions are interfering with the trial and might jeopardize its fairness. The defendant doesn't appear to be changing course despite all of the warnings. The judge's annoyance finally reaches a breaking point when it becomes clear that the defendant won't accept the court's authority. Unexpectedly, the judge loses their cool and addresses the defendant sharply. The result is a dramatic outburst that leaves everyone in the courtroom speechless. In this rare event, the formality of the courtroom is lifted, exposing the judge's human feelings underneath his robe. It serves as a potent reminder that even the most well-respected judges have their limitations, and that the stress and difficulties they encounter in their jobs can cause them to lose their cool. This outburst has serious repercussions for the case as well as the judge's reputation. The episode prompts discussions and arguments in the legal community and the media, bringing attention to the fine line judges must walk between maintaining objectivity and preserving order in the courtroom. After the occurrence, the judge might think back on what they did and try to exercise more restraint in such situations in the future. However, this incident serves as a sobering reminder that even the most prestigious members of the judiciary can experience moments of intense emotion and human frailty in a courtroom. Number 4. In our next heartbreaking moment, a victim who is seeking retribution from their abuser takes the witness stand, causing the courtroom to become emotional. Everyone in the courtroom is brought to tears by the victim's fortitude to speak out after hearing about their horrific and painful experience. Emotions are high and tears are flowing freely as the victim starts to describe the incidents that caused their misery. The victim's testimony has a profound impact on the judge, who is used to keeping a cool and stern manner. It becomes clear that the judge's emotional condition is being negatively impacted by the importance of the case and the suffering of the victim. Throughout the proceedings, the defendant remains unremorseful, showing no signs of regret for their actions. This lack of empathy adds to the emotional intensity in the courtroom, further testing the judge's ability to remain impartial and composed. Despite the judge's best efforts to stay composed and focused on the case's legal aspects, they find it challenging to hide their emotions. They might be seen wiping away tears discreetly, or taking brief pauses to regain their composure. The vulnerability displayed by the judge is a rare sight in a courtroom setting, where they are typically the ones providing strength. The trial goes on, and the judge, as well as everyone else in the courtroom, can no longer deny the emotional impact. The victim's courage in telling their story and the defendant's lack of remorse create an emotionally charged atmosphere. The judge respects the victim's suffering and expresses sympathy and support in a touching moment. Unusual as it may seem, the judge's expression of empathy reveals his or her human side, as he or she acknowledges the gravity of the victim's plight and the relevance of their fight for justice. The emotional intensity in the courtroom serves as a stark reminder of the gravity of the cases that come before the court. It also illustrates the psychological toll such trials can take on judges, who must balance their responsibilities as arbiters of justice with their empathy for those affected by the crimes. After this case, the judge may take some time to reflect on the emotional toll of their role and find ways to better manage their emotions during future emotionally charged trials. This experience leaves a lasting impact on all those present in the courtroom, emphasizing the importance of sensitivity and compassion within the legal system. Ultimately, this case sheds light on the human aspect of the judiciary, showing that even judges can be deeply affected by the pain and suffering they encounter in the pursuit of justice. It serves as a reminder that behind the legal procedures, there are real people with real emotions seeking resolution and healing. Number 3. In our third compelling case, a difficult witness takes the stand as the courtroom drama plays out. There is tension as both the prosecution and defense counsel attempt to elicit crucial information from this witness, who appears determined to be uncooperative and evasive. The witness's unwillingness to comply with the proceedings is immediately apparent when they are sworn in. They try to avoid or deflect the problems at hand by giving evasive responses to questions. This behavior aggravates the counsel and the court because it impedes the investigation of the facts and the administration of justice. Despite the attorney's efforts to maintain order and extract relevant information, the witness remains obstinate. The judge, tasked with ensuring a fair trial and maintaining decorum in the courtroom, issues warnings to the witness, urging them to answer questions truthfully and directly. As the confrontation between the witness and the attorneys escalates, the judge finds themselves at the center of the conflict. Balancing the need to respect the witness's rights while ensuring a fair trial becomes a challenging task for the judge. The witness's uncooperative behavior not only tests the patience of the attorneys, but also pushes the judge's limits. While judges are trained to remain impartial and composed, the witness's defiance may challenge that demeanor. Throughout the proceedings, the tension in the courtroom steadily rises. The attorneys attempt to expose inconsistencies in the witness's testimony, but the witness remains steadfast in their refusal to provide straightforward answers. In a crucial moment, the judge intervenes decisively to address the witness's evasiveness. They deliver a stern admonishment, emphasizing the witness's obligation to tell the truth and cooperate with the court. This confrontation serves as a pivotal moment in the trial, making it clear that the court will not tolerate obstruction and disrespect for the legal process. The witness's behavior, in the end, does not go unnoticed. Their defiance and refusal to cooperate may have consequences not only for the trial, but also for potential charges of contempt of court. This serves as a cautionary example of the importance of respecting the judicial process and the repercussions of uncooperative behavior. After this intense encounter, the judge may reflect on their handling of the situation and strategize ways to manage challenging witnesses more effectively in future cases. The experience also reinforces the importance of maintaining order and upholding the principles of justice in the courtroom. Overall, this case provides a gripping insight into the complexities of the legal system and the challenges faced by judges when dealing with uncooperative witnesses. It highlights the delicate balance judges must strike between ensuring a fair trial and enforcing the rules that safeguard the pursuit of justice. Number 2. The courtroom drama in this gripping case takes center stage as an overzealous lawyer spars with the judge. High stakes are involved in the case, and both the prosecution and defense are adamant about making their cases as effective as they can. One of the party's attorneys is well renowned for their aggressive advocacy tactics. They frequently interject and object loudly throughout the arguments made by the opposing counsel, going beyond the bounds of proper courtroom behavior. Although passionate representation is normal in courtroom situations, this lawyer goes above and above to protect their client's interests. As the trial goes on, the judge gets more and more aware of the attorney's strategies and how they could affect how fairly the case is being handled. The judge must strike a delicate balance between upholding courtroom decorum and honoring the attorney's right to represent their client. The opposing counsel is made aware of the attorney's combative behavior and may object to interruptions and improper objections. This prepares the ground for a legal conflict within the courtroom involving not just the opposing parties, but also the lawyer and the judge. Despite the judge's warnings and attempts to rein in the attorney's behavior, they persist in their aggressive approach. The attorney's persistence in challenging the judge's rulings and decisions creates an intense courtroom environment, with everyone on edge, anticipating the next clash. In a crucial moment, the judge finds themselves at a crossroads. Balancing the duty to provide a fair trial with the need to maintain order, the judge must decide how to respond to the attorney's relentless tactics. This moment of decision-making may significantly impact the trial's trajectory and the attorney's future behavior in court. As tensions escalate, the courtroom becomes a battleground of words and wills. The judge must assert their authority and maintain control over the proceedings, while the attorney remains determined to push the boundaries. This case provides a clear illustration of the difficulties judges encounter when dealing with fervent supporters. The judge must preserve order in the face of continuous obstacles and be stern, yet fair while navigating legal issues. The judge may review how they handled the matter after the heated argument and think of ways to handle situations like this in the future. It also sparks debates among lawyers about the proper limits of aggressive advocacy and its effects on the tone of the courtroom. Number 1. In this most explosive moment, the courtroom witnesses a historic clash between a defiant defendant and a judge who refuses to back down. This case features a defendant who displays blatant disrespect for the court's authority, creating a high-stakes situation that pushes the judge to their absolute limit. From the beginning of the trial, it becomes apparent that the defendant has little regard for the rules and decorum of the courtroom. They interrupt the judge, talk back to the attorneys, and make inflammatory remarks without any hesitation. The defendant's behavior is provocative and confrontational, challenging the very foundation of the court's authority. Despite the judge's attempts to maintain control and order, the defendant's defiance continues unabated. Their lack of respect for the proceedings and the judge's rulings heightens the tension in the courtroom, leaving everyone on edge. As the trial progresses, the judge's patience wears thin, but they strive to maintain their composure and uphold their duty as fair and impartial arbiters of justice. However, the defendant's relentless provocations test the judge's ability to remain neutral and composed. In a pivotal moment, the defendant's audacity reaches a climax, and the judge finally reaches their breaking point. The courtroom witnesses an unprecedented display of anger from the judge as they sternly address the defendant's behavior. The judge's outburst is a moment of raw emotion, uncharacteristic of the typically composed demeanor expected of judges. This explosive confrontation serves as a turning point in the trial, drawing attention from all present in the courtroom. The clash between the judge and the defendant reveals the true extent of the courtroom tension and the consequences of disregarding the court's authority. After the heated moment, the courtroom atmosphere becomes tense, and the judge must carefully navigate the aftermath. The judge may take a brief recess to regain their composure and ensure that the trial continues fairly and justly. This unforgettable moment in court sparks discussions within the legal community and captures the media's attention. It raises questions about the delicate balance between a judge's responsibility to uphold decorum and their human response to blatant disrespect. The incident serves as a powerful reminder that judges are not immune to the pressures and emotions present. The incident serves as a powerful reminder that judges are not immune to the pressures and emotions present in the courtroom. While they are expected to remain impartial, they are, at the end of the day, human beings dealing with complex and emotionally charged cases. In the aftermath of the clash, the judge may reflect on their handling of the situation and strategize ways to manage similar challenges in the future. This case becomes an integral part of legal discussions surrounding the conduct and expectations of judges in the courtroom. As we wrap up our journey through the top 5 times judges lost their temper in court, we have witnessed the human side of the justice system like never before. These gripping cases remind us that even esteemed judges have their breaking points and that the pursuit of justice is not without its challenges. From emotional outbursts to intense confrontations, these moments serve as potent reminders of the complexities within the courtroom. If you enjoyed exploring the human side of the judiciary, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos.